Hey everyone, we're with Dr. Dan Atwell today. Runs a high volume, beautiful family style practice out of Virginia. And he gets into the cultural aspect of what he's doing. Really unique, this Jeopardy game that he plays is just one example that he unpacks for us in this episode. But that's one key you'll see with successful lifetime family style wellness practices. They give back to their patients a lot. They create a great culture. And Dr. Dan really dives into what he's done in his practice to create just that. This episode is brought to us by our success partner, Aspen Laser and Theralite. Question's this: is your current laser falling short in treating tough patient issues? Well, Aspen Laser and Theralite have the solutions you need for quicker, longer, lasting results. They're offering a no-risk, complimentary demo day where you can bring 10 to 15 of your toughest patients and see the improvements firsthand. And by the way, if you're not really impressed, they'll pay you $500 for spending the day coming out to your practice. So if you'd like to schedule a demo, reach out to Mark Murdoch at 214-641-1827. Let's jump into this episode, UAC Best Practices.
Hey everyone, welcome to the UAC, that's Ultimate Achievers Club podcast. The hope here is that you get to hear from one of our UAC members, grab a little nugget, a piece of wisdom that you can take and apply to your practice or your personal life or any part of your life immediately and get an immediate impact. And I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Alan Miner. Doctor, you want to take it?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me. And we have Dr. Dan Atwell with us. Dan, I think you've been in UAC at least a couple of years now. And he's out of Harrisburg, Virginia, in your 25th year of practice. And Dan, you just have one of those. It's funny. I see a lot of chat groups I follow on Facebook. And you hear a lot of the conversations are like people kind of questioning, like, are there really that successful practices? Are there really big practices out there? Are there really $1 million? How rare is $1 million practice? And so you're, in my mind, an example of somebody who's just really done this right, and with different coaching programs and evolved what you do over the course of your career. So, and we were talking before we started, which is fascinating because I find myself more and more focusing on culture. And, there's scripting, there's procedure, but if the culture's not right, then I don't care what the words are in the script. It just doesn't hit right. And you started talking about that's really been a lot of the emphasis on your team. So how have you guys approached culture? What have you done? What do you focus on that helps drive patient outcomes and experience, your team staying with you in longevity? I mean, give us your insights around culture today.
I feel like the most important thing is the energy set from the Monday morning in our first meeting, making sure we start our energy high. Our focus for the day is set. Our vision for the day is clear. We're ready to practice with certainty. And I think as far as culture that we've developed in the practice is really building more certainty in our staff, in their abilities. So they're not questioned. They can speak from a place of certainty when they have to answer questions. And patients feel that. Patients can feel that certainty and that professionalism. And second to that, they can feel that energy when it's here and when it's not. And, we try to make a concerted effort, to really continue to, it's hard 4 days a week when you're seeing a lot of people to sustain that. But I always say, work hard 4 days and play hard 3, right?
I love it.
Yeah, when you say energy, first of all, amazing name, Atwell. You're born to be a chiropractor.
That's right.
When you say energy, just for clarity, we're not talking about walking the office and just being rah, 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 right? That can only take them so far. So maybe when you talk about certainty and you talk about vision, maybe you're talking about purpose, chiropractically, right? Speaking, so that they have that confidence. Is that where you're driving at with when you say certainty? And what's one example of how you just instill that in your team?
Yeah, I think it's how we show up. A great mentor of a lot of ours is Bob Hoffman. He always said, practice and is waiting for your leader to show up, and just how you present yourself in the morning. You could come in however you want, but we teach our team to anchor on the door when they come in, leave everything behind, pick it up on your way out, stay focused for our patients. They hired us, they can fire us. Let's create great energy momentum for the day because they can read off that, and they're going to feel better if we are in an environment of creating that environment of healing. And so it's not our, a cheerleading session. It's about state management. It's about changing our posture, changing our breathing, changing our mindset, changing how we talk to people, and creating that vibe in the practice that patients can always feel welcome, but also they can just we're gonna bring them up a notch. And that's what we always focus on is we have 3 E's in our office on every visit. We're gonna educate, we're gonna entertain, and we're gonna empower you. And that empowerment might be, hey man, your hair looks great today. What'd you do different? Or it might be, hey, you look great in blue. But we might be that one segment in a day that they have a positive moment in their life that we can influence them. It's going to create great energy. Not it's going to create great referrals. It's going to create great retention. It's going to get them in our space. So now we can get them to heal as well.
Talk about the entertainment part there, Dan, because I've noticed. I was introduced to a guy right by an uncle of mine, and he was just one of these guys who was naturally hilarious, and like he could get patients laughing. And in all my years in practice management, nobody ever. I know it's a hard thing to train, but the truth is, like when people are laughing when they're entertained, that is really like. And patients loved him and came to him for years, and he didn't have any technique or practice management stuff. I just think people love being around him because he made it fun. He entertained them. He got them laughing. What's your take on that part of it?
I think it's genetic, comes from the old man sometimes, the
Yeah.
sarcasm and humor, but I like to bring that out in people. And yeah, I absolutely, every chance I can, I try to get them laughing, try and get their joy back in their day. And it might be just as simple as, is that the table creaking or is that your spine? Something simple that you're going to, just get them to stop for a minute, laugh. Oh, it might be my spine. And so on the other side of that, we create opportunities in the office for entertainment. One of our favorite things to do is Chiro Jeopardy. We have a Jeopardy board set up. It's an opportunity where they can go through and, they have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 category. Each one has a different topic. It might be chiropractic kids. It might be nutrition. It might be et cetera. And then they can go through and not only are we educate them and entertain them, but more important, they're starting to learn the values and the core principles of chiropractic the way we've tried to teach them throughout the practice. And it just reemphasizes that, puts a different fun spin on it to where, we give them away prizes. We do fun things, giveaways and those kind of things.
So how do you, is that board a electronic thing? Is it manual? Do they answer, like, give me more details.
So backdrop, black backdrop, and then we have, cards or pocket holders set up at each category. And in each of those pockets, you draw a question, ask the patient a question directly. They win it, just like Jeopardy. They progress to the next round, and they can go up to 500. And each level, we provide different levels of prizes, and of course, we make it a big deal. We have get their picture with their prizes, and we blow it up a couple days before on Facebook and blast email. So we're trying to engage our clients. We do it on our busiest days, our Mondays and Thursdays, so we can have a big feel for it. But
How
so you get them engaged in education.
is it? It's not always going. It's certain times of the year or something.
We generally do it about 4 times a year, but we try and tag it on the end of maybe an event where we've had new patient specials. We get new patients to see kind of that side of our practice as well, and they realize it's just not coming in and getting adjusted and leaving. They're going to be involved in an experience. Like Jen Tempo always said, we don't want a jacuzzi. We want a transformational experience, and that's what we try to create.
So are they asking the CA or the doctor, and can they do 5 questions, one category in one visit, or each visit they progress up through it, or how do you guys do that?
So we do it one day, and when they're checking out, the CAs will engage them and say, hey, you ready to play chiropractic Jeopardy? And they'll just go through, what category do you want and what number? And they'll pick, hey, I want nutrition for 100. And we ask them that question. They get it right. They move on. They get it wrong. They get their prize, and everybody wins.
I love it. What kind of prizes do you guys get?
Oh, the simple things. I mean, it might be a piece of chocolate, but it might be a gift card to like, Chipotle, or the grand prize. They get 500 and they get it a couple times in a row, and then it might be an hour massage. So, I mean, we have fun with it. We do make it rewarding though as well.
I love it. That is great. What other things have you read or been around that helped over 25 years to mold this culture? Like, what's been a big influence on you around this topic?
I think one of my favorite books is Raving Fans. And I require all our staff to read it. It's usually part of their first month of onboarding. It's an old book now. If you're going to find it, it's going to be not in new print, but it just is impactful on me, and it always has been. It's an easy read for staff, and I think it's one that really kind of gives them an idea of what's inside my mind for an experience that I want to have for our patients. We talk about the Ritz-Carlton, the 5-star, Raving Fans, is one of those things that really years ago impacted me so much that, it's something we still to this day implement.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. You ever had a period in your practice where the culture was going south, you'd ignored it, And maybe, I mean, that I've noticed tends to happen sometimes, ebb and flow and staff changes. Was there ever what was the low point, or was there ever one in your practice where you realized this is actually, we've got to do something about this?
Yeah, I think if you say no to that, you're lying to yourself and everybody else. It's gonna happen. And catching that early sometimes, I think you become a seasoned veteran of seeing the signs early. And now, where I'm in 25th year in practice can make adjustments accordingly that don't bother us as much as they did. In that meaning, looking at getting a pulse check from our office manager, our staff leader, office coordinator, what's going on in the office, what's the vibe, and they'll give you answers. And so that's always a point too where we can engage them to start maybe helping with that culture on their side of things. If we're in that low, how do we pick that up? And then we could spend that. We could create environments to pick that up. Maybe do a team training, we do a team lunch, or we do, in or outside the office event, just to kind of really re-engage that chemistry that leads to that culture that we're trying to create anyway.
Dan, how this is something top of mind for me. When you're hiring, is there something you can do throughout the hiring process? Maybe it's engaging with your team for hiring, to ensure, like, right from the get-go, they understand that this is part of what is the fabric of your practice, is that engaging in building a culture to create this experience for patients. What do you do on the front end when you're bringing new team members on board?
I think you definitely can get a feel for where they're coming from and the experience they've had. We ask a lot of in-depth questions on their background too. What excites them? We're looking for that answer. They enjoy being part of a team. They love doing things together. We look for creative side, and each position's different. We're looking for different things, but we're always looking for that person that obviously has great personality, has great energy, has great eye contact. You could tell right away that it's a person that's moldable and can be coachable as well. Those are important factors when you're looking to develop a culture, that someone that isn't going to come with everything walls up, and we're going to look at, hey, are you going to be moldable to our culture? So, I mean, I think those are key indicators you can find that questioning process during the initial interviews.
I'm curious, Dan, what other things do you guys do over the year just to love on, maybe whether it's patient appreciation days, or are there other things you guys do throughout the year besides Jeopardy?
Yeah, we have ladies' night, which is one that we've done a lot over the years. Where we hire massage therapists to come in. We hire our own. We don't hire. We ask our own patients who already have, maybe businesses in the area, like somebody makes soy candles, somebody makes furniture. We have them in. We create kind of like a vendor area. We usually do we cater it towards a theme, so it might be country western. So then we ask them to dress up, or we might be ladies' night out, and we ask them to dress up. That and it's a blast. And then I'm in charge of the wine and chocolate station always. No hold down, right? And so we always have that as well. And so that's a real fun event that we've had. We have one, it's called Tropical Tune Up, we do in March. And when it's nasty out, we try and bring the tropics. We deck the whole office out in the tropics. We encourage patients to wear tropical shirts. We hand out lays to everybody. We get their feet in the sand. We have contests and prizes. All while the back theme is we're getting tuned up and they're getting adjusted. They're getting checked. We create patient opportunities and education for that.
Is that a week-long thing, a one-day thing?
That one's a week long. Yeah, that's a process.
How many ladies' nights do you do a year?
Usually one, sometimes two. We've done two in the past.
Do you do anything around the holidays?
In the holidays, we do our 12 days of Christmas, traditionally like other places, but ours has a different spin. And a lot of this, some of it's I learned from getting Dr. Mike Gandolfi. Some of it, we kind of put our own spin. We kind of combine some programs together. We have things like reindeer poop day. So we make reindeer poop, and patients love it. We hand it out to them. So that we have a board of what's coming up. Kids absolutely, we have a huge pediatrics practice, and that's probably part of the culture, is developing an area where family feel comfortable bringing the kids in, not only get checked, but then, be involved in some of these events. So, we have Christmas ornament day where they choose an ornament off the tree. They get to keep the ornament. We choose nice ones. On the bottom of the ornament is a color tab that selects a gift that we want to give them. We have different categories of gifts. So we just you can't outgive the universe. And so we try to do that.
I love it, man. It's interesting to me that always the over my career, the biggest kid-focused pediatric family wellness practices do this kind of stuff where they're really loving on their people regularly, and they make it fun. It's not just I don't think after 3 years, you can just keep always coming in and getting an adjustment, Like, I think it has to be some kind of experience that goes along with the relationship you built with these folks. So you really are part of their life as a healthcare provider and not just a temporary kind of stop, in the, like a lot of their other doctors, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I'm sure some people are wondering at this point, can you just talk briefly about the style of your practice, Dan? How do you guys adjust cash or insurance? Are there any other verticals of service you guys offer?
Yeah, it's primarily, chiropractic centered. I always, when we have our interns and associates come through, it's, we keep that as our primary. Our principal is chiropractic. We deliver chiropractic. Anything outside of that's supporting the chiropractic adjustment. People call it a high volume practice. I call it a day in the office. It's just, you know, we have a system and an operation that we're allowed to, opportunity to see and serve a lot of people. Some days 120, some a few more, some a few less. In that mix, we're still seeing quite a few new patients. Um, Primarily Thompson terminal point technique with a couple other things we have blended together over the years that allows for an efficient assessment adjustment. They're moving on to if we're doing cold laser therapy is one of our modalities that I like because it actually supports the adjustment as well as, and we do some cox flexion extraction. We just have a streamlined system. People check in, they know what table to go to, they get adjusted, they know what table to go to, they go check out. They're on care plans, about 80%. Don't even have to pay on the way out because they're already set up on a care plan. So we do have the cash patients. And a lot of those are on cash care plans or non-insurance plans. And then a lot are on, we'll pay per visit because they choose to, and that's fine. So we do see some insurance. We do see some PI cases. Our primary focus is family-based, center-based practice.
Love it, man. That's awesome. Well, final question, Dr. Dan, is about UAC. How's the experience been for you? What's been how come you're in UAC? What's been the biggest benefit to you as a member?
I tell you, for those that are hemming and hawing about the group, I was on the fence for a number of years just because life was busy. I had 3 kids in travel sports and trying to run a practice, and I was coaching 2 of those teams, and it was nuts. And so when I was kind of on the exit, I started looking back at UAC, and I never turned back. It's just a great experience. Probably the biggest thing is meeting the people, going to the events, and just rubbing elbows with people and having dinner and having great conversations and learning what people are doing and how they're excelling in practice and maybe some things you didn't think of, or maybe some different communication styles you might not have thought of and different niches that you might add. So it's been a great experience in that respect of really helping me kind of expand my vision for how we want to progress in the future.
Awesome. Well, we're better for having you in the room, and thanks for sharing these best practices, man. That was awesome, Doc. Thank you.
Yep. No, appreciate it, man. You too.
Guys, we'll see you.
All right.